Hello everyone, I'm back. I know you were not holding your breath for me to come back, but I'm here. Let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm Kübra, I'm from Turkey, and I was taking some exams and there is some play. It just distracted me. Okay, let's go. So, I'm from Turkey and I've been taking some exams during this quarantine time. I'm working a full-time job, so I had to be very quick on the study part and I needed to study smart, let's say. So, I think I developed some good tricks to do that. So, I decided to share these experiences on YouTube, and also again in Turkey we are right now in quarantine for like, I don't know, 20 days. 17 days, something like this. I stopped counting. And it's actually a nice excuse for me to wear some clothes other than the pajamas and the sweatpants, and also put some little bit of makeup. I'm taking these videos both for my sanity and to give you some tips. I think it's a win-win, I would say. In this video, I'll talk about one of the most intimidating part of TOEFL exam. It is the speaking part. I believe with right studying tactics, it's not that hard. Let's start on the topic immediately. I'll introduce you different question types in the TOEFL speaking, and I'll also give some tricks on how can you ace them. So I have my laptop here. I'll look at it time to time. As for you know, TOEFL speaking is total of 17 minutes. You'll have 4 questions. So in the independent speaking task will be always your first question. And in this question, they first are going to read you the question. You'll listen to the question and you'll see the question. And then you are going to be given 15 seconds to prepare your thoughts, and you'll speak for 45 seconds. The independent question can be in different types. So they will ask you either agree or disagree questions, or preference questions, or they will give you 3 choices and they will ask you which one do you prefer, or they will ask you advantages and disadvantages question. Most likely they will be asking preference or agree and disagree questions, but I think the structure here that we are going to talk about will be applicable for all. So for example, what they will going to ask you is going to be something like this. Do you prefer hot climates or cold climates? I think best way of answering this type of questions is preparing a structure that you are going to follow prior to the exam. For example, I decided whatever the question is, I'm going to give 2 reasons why I said that. You need to give your opinion and then you need to state why you think like that. This kind of structure, it's probably going to work on most of the questions. So you are saying, okay, do you prefer hot climates or cold climates? First, you need to state your opinion with 1 sentence. I actually favor the hot climates more because the first sentence can be paraphrasing the question. Maybe if you use the exact same words, it might look like you don't know much words, a lot of words. So it is better to paraphrase it a little bit. Then you need to use some word like because. You might say something like, I feel this way because of several reasons. Like you need to give your opinion, then you need to connect it to your reasons. And then now you can start talking about your reasons. For example, you might like the hot climate because you might like the outdoors, or you might like the cold climate because it makes you feel energized. It can be anything, but you need to think about that in that 15 seconds. Your brief sentence can be prepared beforehand, so prepare that one. And how can you connect it to your reasons? This type of things that can be used for every kind of questions. It is better to prepare them before, because in those 15 seconds, you're not going to probably have enough time to think about that. And in those 15 seconds, it's best to decide where are you going to stand on the question and what are your reasons to be standing there. And 45 seconds is gonna go quickly, but if you spend enough time on the opening and if you give like 15 seconds for each of your reasons, you'll be fine. Try to divide your time for 10 seconds of opening and 15 seconds of for both reasons, maybe 5 seconds for the conclusion. I know it's not always possible, but try to write down your reasons before that 15 seconds ends. If you don't decide on that 15 seconds, like 45 seconds is a very short time to think and speak at the same time. And if you are thinking and speaking at the same time, the person who is going to give you your score will notice it. And it's probably going to affect the point that you are getting from that task. So just be quick on the decision-making part. Moving on to the second question. The second question is called integrated speaking task. It will consist of an announcement or a letter that is posted on the university magazine, and it's going to be something about some change or about news or some disagreements or some opposition, something like that. As something is happening in the campus and they are putting on a newsletter or in some kind of announcement. You will have 50 seconds to read that passage, and after you read the passage, you'll listen to two students speaking about this change, or you'll have a student and administration officer talking about something. It's going to be two people discussing what was written on the passage that you've been giving. Don't forget to take some notes while you listen, and in the speaking part you'll be asked to explain what was on the announcement and what was the students were thinking about it, where they were standing. Did they agree on it or did they disagree? You need to summarize what was in the announcement and students' opinion. The question asks you the specific students' opinion on the topic. It's not going to be like what both of the students are thinking, but like what one of the students is thinking on that topic. So after you hear the question, you'll have 30 seconds to get ready and 60 seconds to speak. In those 60 seconds, you need to summarize a little bit what was mentioned on the announcement, and then give the student's opinion on the announcement, and you need to explain why student thinks that way. What I think the structure that we used on the first question is pretty much going to work here too. Maybe it's just going to need a little bit adjustments. Summarize what was there. This is a different part from the independent question. You need to summarize what was in the reading passage, and then you need to again state an opinion. This time maybe not your opinion, but the student's opinion. And then you need to give the reasons that they stated. Moving on to the third question. This is also an integrated task. So this one is pretty similar to the second question, but in this one, first you'll need to read a passage about some sort of topic. Probably the passage will be defining the topic or defining some specific terminology that is going to be used in the listening passage. After you read that, again you'll have 50 seconds to read it. Then you'll hear a lecturer talking about the topic it was defined on the reading passage. Probably professor is going to give some opinions about the topic, and again you'll have 30 seconds to get prepared and 60 seconds to speak. And in here, like the other one, you'll define or summarize what was in the reading passage, where lecturers stand on this idea. Do they disagree or agree? I don't know. Do they give some examples about it? And then if there was reasons, if there were examples, you'll break into that and you'll talk about that. Again, pretty similar structure. So fourth question is like a small version of the third question. In the last question, you'll only listen a lecturer. After you listen the lecturer, you'll have 20 seconds to get ready and 60 seconds to speak. While you are listening, you need to take some notes about the topic and the reasoning that the lecturer using. Pretty much the same with the others. You need to state what lecturer was talking about and what was his idea and why he had this idea, what was his reasons or her reasons for it. In detail, there are of course differences on the tasks. But I think in general, the structure that you're going to use while answering is going to be pretty much the same. I'm moving on to the part that I will explain how your speaking passage will be scored. In the official TOEFL website, there is a guide on how your speaking passage will be scored. They will look at 4 aspects of your speaking passage. First, the general description. This means if you actually answered the question that was asked to you, or did you walk around it, or did you give a similar answer but it was not the direct answer to the question. And your delivery. Was your speaking language clear? Was it good paced? Because if you speak too fast, the listener will not understand you. But if you speak too slow, it will be like you were trying to pass the time. And the language you use. They will look at your language use, if you use the right grammar and if you use the rich vocabulary. And I need to state one thing here. They don't expect you to have a perfect grammar or perfect vocab. I'll leave the link below. If you go look at how they're going to score your speaking skills, even highest point doesn't say perfect answer. It says minor mistakes on vocabulary or minor mistakes on grammar. So don't be pressured to make your answers perfect. Don't try to memorize them because it's never going to work. You can be asked 100 different types of questions. You need to learn the structure, but you can never memorize the whole type of answers. On the other hand, if you memorize it, probably the people are going to score your passage will notice because these people are trained to do this job. Don't try to cheat in any way. The other part is your topic development. The topic development is if you give a logical reasoning or if you developed your idea in a clear and coherent way. Was the relationship between the ideas were clear. So this 4 aspects going to make up your point for each speaking passage that you submit. Each question gets point from 4 to 0. I'll go deeper into the different types of questions in next videos. If you want to learn more, you can check those out. And if you are getting ready for a university, if you are applying for masters, if you are taking GRE, if you are taking TOEFL, and if you need some tips on how to make your decisions, academical decisions, I am taking videos on that. I'm sharing my experiences with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the videos if you like the content. See you. Bye bye.